It's now time for the Coaches Show on News Talk 1250 KBRF and KBRFradio.com, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toyota, and by Running Stitches. Now for the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe, here's Craig Olson.
Welcome to the Coaches Show. It's Saturday, and it's really kind of a not nice day outside at all. So, good day maybe for that indoor used car sale that's going on at Minnesota Motors, one of our sponsors here. But the show is presented by the Viking Cafe, and Matt Johnson's here, head coach of the Otters and Otter Boys basketball. And we just finished our Viking Cafe breakfast with pancakes and sausage links, and hits the spot, doesn't it?
Can't go wrong.
No.
Delicious.
Get it going. I should have said, this is the much-traveled Matt Johnson, because you've been to, since last we spoke, you've been to Grand Rapids, you've been to Sauk Rapids, you've been to Sartell, playing basketball at all those places, and had a home game finally last night. That must have felt good.
Yeah, it was a stretch due to rescheduling. The Sartell game was on its third date that we tried. First two were rescheduled because of weather. It turned into a really tough stretch. Grand Rapids was a long trip last Saturday. You go there, you turn around on Tuesday, you head to Sauk Rapids. Thursday at Sartell, and then for your third game in 4 days at home last night. But just I thought a tough stretch for our kids, and we talked about it quite a bit with them, just in testing your toughness. It's a lot for our kids. I've always said a Tuesday night trip to any of the St. Cloud area schools really kind of ruins your week. Mm-hmm. It just you get home at 11:30, you're exhausted. You turn around, go to class, practice, and then to do it again on Thursday. It's not very many years that you end up making that trip on a Tuesday, Thursday, maybe a Tuesday, Friday. You hope you only have one of them a week, but Tuesday, Thursday was a real tester. So I was really proud of the way our kids handled it. They've been really a terrific group to coach this year, and it's fun to watch. They just show up and work every day. Great attitudes, great teammates. So fun to reward them with a couple wins this week too.
It's got to be tough on the coaches too. I mean, that's difficult because your day's tough too. You've got all day with kids, and then you try to practice. Yeah, we've got day jobs, and so right. we try to do those as well as we can, for sure. And so it's difficult. And I think in the basketball part of it, some of the difficulty is we want to prepare our kids really well, and so you try to you do a lot of film work. You try to create a game plan and a scouting report for your kids on Sauk Rapids. And then on the bus ride home, we start talking about Sartell. And on the way home from Sartell Thursday night, you're going, okay, we haven't even looked at Rocori yet. So now on the bus, you're trying to watch film. You wake up early, try to create a scouting report. And I can't give enough credit to my assistants. Taylor Foose this week took on a couple of our scouts to help out. Does a terrific job. Brad, Ryan, they're all watching. We kind of divvy up the games and compile our notes. And those guys this week, I thought Taylor's game plans for Sauk Rapids and for Rocori were X factors in why we controlled the games. So I'm pretty thankful to have a great staff. Let's go back to last Saturday for a minute. Grand Rapids. The stat that kind of jumped out at me, and it's such a strange stat game to game, is your free throws. You made 13 out of 16 free throws. You just never know what's going to happen at the free throw line, but that helped you to stay at least in that game.
Yeah, a day where we really didn't have our best stuff. I thought defensively we were really sluggish. We just didn't really have it. Offensively, things were a lot of work. They ran a really unique defense where they force you to go to your left. They really sit on the right side. They deny any pass to the right side of the floor. They gap the left side, so they invite you to pass the ball to the left side of the floor. You really can't get to the right side of the floor, which leaves a lot of openings, but you're really playing on half the floor. And if you took a couple of days to really prep, I think you could really dissect it. Being a non-conference game, coming off a couple of other important games, we didn't probably invest the time needed to really help our guys And so that was maybe a coach's error. But the free throw side of it, right? We're up and down. I would tell you we have really good shooters on our team, and I think you've seen that in a lot of games. And I also think free throws are the hardest thing in the world to practice because you can't simulate a game.
Right.
You know, we can tell them they're going to run if they miss. We can make a game out of it, make it competitive. You can do it in game situation and practice. It's just not the same. Right. And so it's really tough, you know, and it just takes repetition. Confidence is a huge piece of it. And so 13 out of 16 is a great number. And then we've had nights where you're, 5 for 16 and you
right.
go, what are we doing here? That's not who we are. So just building our guys up with confidence. We want to get there, and we think we have great shooters, and trusting that that'll happen. But certainly helped us on that Saturday.
Grand Rapids won that game 72-61. But what has been consistent, it seems, Matt, game to game, no matter the outcome, is you've had great balance offensively. And in that game, you had 3 guys in double digits, another with 9. So you're right there. And last night you had 4 guys in double digits. I mean, that's kind of the theme this year.
Yeah, Sauk Rapids, I think we had 5 in double figures. And it really has been, and I think you become really hard to guard when it's a variety pack. And Pee-wee's really set the table for us and let us in scoring a lot of the nights. But last night, Micah with 21 led us, had his best game of the year. It was really fun to see how confident he played. Nolan can really shoot it. Jacob Jentz is a kid who continues to improve and just impresses me day in and day out with his work ethic, his ability to take direction from us and put it into play. I thought defensively last night he was terrific. But yeah, the scoring side of it, Cam Wiedrichs hit some shots. Eli Fullhart has really, as a sophomore, and I would say a kid that came into the year pretty raw in terms of understanding really what it takes to play at the varsity level. And he's a kid who has helped us tremendously, both from a scoring, shooting standpoint, but also a rebounding standpoint. But yeah, that well-rounded piece of it, and I think when we get Trenton back, add another piece, really an electric scorer. I would tell you he's as versatile of a scorer as we have. It'll be really fun to add that piece back, and you just become harder to guard. It's not load to one kid. I think Pee-wee gets a lion's share of the attention just because of his ability to get downhill, get into the paint, and create problems for other teams. But that just opens up good looks for others. And Pee-wee's done a good job of finding those guys, and those guys have knocked down some shots.
How big was that win at Sauk Rapids Rice? I mean, 95-68. You had a lot of guys contribute there. You mentioned Pee-wee had a big night, 25 points, had a double-double, 12 assists. You had double-double from Jacob Jentz, who's been outstanding, but everybody else was hitting too.
Yeah, and I think confidence is a fickle thing, and for our guys, our record does not show our. I told you that before we went on the air. I don't think that's a very fair representation of who we are, and I've heard that from the coaches we're playing. Hey, when we watch on film, we're like, how's this a 2-win team? Well, we didn't have a great Christmas break. I would say we didn't play very good basketball over Christmas, but we've grown every game, and we were really inexperienced coming into the year. We really liked the pieces. Trenton going down kind of shook that a little bit. But man, this team, I would say it's the easiest team I've coached in quite a few years. It just in the way that they show up and work. You can't tell after a tough loss. You can't tell by their demeanor at practice the next day after a big win. They're the same way. They just continue to work. So, but the confidence built off beating Sauk, and I would say the fashion we did it. It was a really dominant win. It was never in question. Our kids controlled the entire thing. And so I thought both ends of the floor, we were really good offensively. We had 3. The huddle programs charted us for 3 turnovers. One of them wasn't even a turnover. So really we had 2 turnovers. One of those came in the last couple minutes of the game. So I would say we had 1 turnover in the prime of the game. And I've never had, that's a stat I've never had.
You kind of like that stat as an old point guard. And
I mean, not one of our starters had a turnover, and we scored right. So and then we shot 55% from 3. So that's how you score 95 points.
Yeah,
don't ever turn it over.
Wow.
Yeah, had some offensive rebounds in there. So pretty impressive outing, and yeah, the confidence built from that was really, I think, important for us to reward the work they're putting in.
Yeah. You hit 11 threes that night, too. Nolan Felstool hit 5 of them for you. He can shoot it. When he shoots, you mentioned it, when he shoots ball well, like Retz used to tell me, if my team shoots ball well, I'm a much better coach. And when Nolan shoots it, you're a much better team all around.
Yeah, I would say last night against Rocori is a really good example of that. He hit a couple early, and their coaching staff, right, they're calling a timeout, talking about it, and then he'll come out, and a couple possessions later, he gets loose again and hits one, and just deflated that team. Well, they then have to stay pretty tight to him. He takes a lot of the attention. Well, now who's in the gaps when Micah or Pee Wee are getting downhill? And it's nobody. They can't leave him. So, we need his shooting. In the games he's shot it well, we've been really efficient offensively.
Well, and also you're getting some great play, consistent play from Eli Fullhart. What kind of has gotten Eli going this year?
Yeah. I mean, his first opportunities really came when Trenton got hurt, and that's opportunity. We talked to him about that he got some opportunity coming here, and he's embraced it. I think the biggest thing for him coming into the year was learning how hard you have to play every day. And so showing up to practice and giving a game-like effort every single day. It can't just be show up when the lights are on. That doesn't really work. It's we're not going to improve the way we need to. And so he's learned that. But his length, I would say his rebounding is the biggest asset that he brings. His length. He's got a really good motor to get after rebounds out of his area. And we're not a real big team, and his length and size has really helped. And then he's a great knockdown shooter. He's hit some big shots for us at Grand Rapids. He hit a couple big ones to kind of keep us in it as we clunked our way through that one. He helped us out quite a bit. But so fun to watch him come into his own, figure it out, and really become a huge piece of what we're doing.
Sartell Thursday night got you 78-64. They had a guy, Maddox Lewis, scored 32. Where was he hurting you?
From the 3-point line. He was 8 for 12 from 3. 3 for 4 inside the paint. He's a 6'5" bigger kid. He's going to Black Hills State to play next year. Coach, his dad runs the Comets AAU program. So good player. That was a frustrating night as a coach. We have a game plan, and we did not execute at all. He's number 1 on the scouting report. He's number 2 on the scouting report. He's number 3 on that's the guy, and we just didn't respect that. And so that, again, part of the process and learning is your physical effort's good, your mental effort has to match that. And we did not execute a game plan, and he made us pay. And you're not going to win games against good teams when you don't value what needs to be done, right? And that's with an inexperienced team, learning what's a winning play. And against them, a winning play is getting a hand up on him and running him off the 3-point line. And when you let a kid go 8 for 12, you have not done your job. And we learned from it. And I thought last night, last night it was Brody Woods, the big kid from Rocori that's going to go play D-line at UND. And he's 6'6", 220, about 3% body fat, right? He's just an absolute load. And I thought our attention to detail with him was terrific. Jacob Jentz was awesome. Isaac Mock gave us some unbelievable minutes. And they're short spurts, but that's a senior that's our best communicator, has the best attitude, shows up every day and works, and doesn't get a lot of his name's not the one that I'm sending you every night for an article, but a kid that does so many little things. We've got a couple seniors that really are terrific program kids. Micaiah Abramson's a kid that shows up every day. And again, you don't see him getting on the varsity court, but super valuable to our program. One of the nicest, hardest working, best teammates. Just a kid that I think super highly of. Is really important to what we do. And those kids, they're unsung heroes in our program. They don't always get recognized in the way that they probably deserve, because you guys don't get to see the work that he puts in to make us better. Yeah. But pretty thankful for those guys. And so, Cam Wiederich's another one that maybe we don't talk about as much, but what I thought last night was his best game. Had knocked down a shot, but I thought defensively, hustle plays, things that he really provides for us. So fun to see those seniors helping us out. But last night, Isaac's defense on Woods was really, really good. Isaac's so strong, can help us in that area. Rebounded well too.
73-58 win, very good bounce back win last night, and a busy week ahead too. You had 4 games this week, 3 next week, going through next Saturday, including a home game with Moorhead on Tuesday night. So we'll leave it there. We'll let whoever's. I think Jason's got that game Tuesday night. I'm not sure, I guess, but we'll be there broadcasting and streaming, and we'll talk more about that one at that time.
Awesome. Thanks.
I could go another half hour with you, Matt, but
it's pretty fun. I enjoy getting into this. We appreciate you and the work you put into our teams.
Well, I know you love talking about your kids, and that's great.
They're great kids.
Matt Johnson, head coach of the Otter Boys basketball team. Hey, don't forget to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926, okay? 321-1926. You could win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. We may pull your name. So do that now, and we'll draw later in the program. We'll continue with our interviews, some boys hockey on the schedule today. Will it happen? I don't know. We'll talk to Mike Donahue, see if he knows anything about that at this point. So don't go away. More to come on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
It's the indoor sale. Of course we moved all the vehicles inside so you can shop in comfort.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have cider and donuts.
It's the indoor sale. Of course Blake is practicing his dance moves.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have balloons.
It's our indoor sale. Of course all of our used inventory is on sale. And it comes with a Minnesota Motor $300 gift card.
It's the indoor sale at Minnesota Motor Company, Saturday, January 17th.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number? I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Hey, welcome back to the show. We're talking boys hockey. The Otters, first of all, the game today is...
It's on. Derek is happy.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. Man, these ADs earn their money, don't they?
Oh, man, with this intermittent weather, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. But Thief was on the road last night, right? So they were already, beyond us. So they had to get back home, so they're here.
Yeah, it was fortunate even with yesterday. I think that weather and looking around the state, and it kind of just seemed so isolated in different pockets. And luckily, they were able to make it to Little Falls last night, and I was in touch with their coach. And they made it into town last night safely, so that was good. And so game will be on today. All
right, that's on the radio today too, and on the video stream through the Fergus Now app and the KBRF YouTube channel. 2 o'clock drop of the puck for the varsity game from the community arena. Good day to go watch the Otters or stay home and watch them on the video feed if you prefer. Well, this was a tough week win-loss wise. Northern Lakes got you last Saturday, 3-1. That game, they had 32 shots on your net. Were they that good offensively, creating opportunities? Did you struggle defensively to limit their shots? What happened as the way that one played out, Mike?
They were shooters, and we're going to see that again today with the Thief River Falls team that shoots the puck. They get over the blue line. No shot's a bad shot. I thought we defended well. We were pleased with our game that day. It was tight. It was 2-1 right to the end, and then we give one up off of face-off late in the game, which kind of took the wind out of our sail. But Northern Lakes is a top 15 team in the state, and they're defending 6A champions. They play with a lot of structure. It's tough to get to their goaltender, and their defensemen play well. And those are the kind of tight games that you're going to be a part of, hopefully coming down the stretch and find some ways to bang in a couple more pucks.
Are they a pretty veteran team? Did they bring a lot of guys back off that successful team last year?
Yeah, they have I think a real nice mix of talent and size and excellent goaltending. So when you can put those three elements together, you should have a successful season.
Were you creating some opportunities in the offensive end?
Yeah, we were happy with we thought we put a full 51-minute effort in during that game, and they were just able to make a couple more plays at the end of the day, and that's all you ask for as coaches. Go out, compete the game, compete every single shift, and we thought our kids made great strides that night.
A couple of sophomores combine on your goal. That's not going to be unfamiliar, I don't think, to Otter fans over the next few years to see Tanner Donahue and Luke Johnson combine. They've been playing together a long time.
Since I think I have some video clips at Otter Intermissions with those two playing some cross-ice games. So it's been a while. And, that was just a face-off win. We gave up a face-off goal at the end. We had scored one earlier in the game, and those are kind of tight times of the game, and Tanner showed great patience at the blue line. Their defender got through, had a lane in, and Tanner was able to change the angle on that puck, just like we work on a lot during practice, and just get past that first layer and get it to the net, and he was lucky to be rewarded.
I know Mark Johnson was talking, I don't know if it was this game or the Alec game where I was listening, about some of the guys that are kind of close to coming back maybe on your roster, and we talked about it last week. What's the update injury-wise as far as getting some players back in the mix?
Yeah, we've got Jared and Coulter both back. They've played JV last week. They missed significant time, and we've covered a lot of different concepts and different things and ways that we need to play as a hockey team, and it takes some time. Jared should be a little quicker. He's a junior, so he's got a year of experience on understanding some of those things. Coulter missing, he was there for about 2 weeks of practice this year, so that's a lot of teaching and different structural things and playing at the varsity level that we're just continuing to work with him, and he's a hard worker. We know his skill set is there, and it's getting him comfortable and confident in the tough situations. Where will that affect your lineup the most? Where will these guys fit in, and how does it kind of shift things around for you in your lineup? Coulter's been an offensive guy. He's got great skills, great vision. He skates well, handles the puck well, sees the ice well. So when I look at him, we need to score goals. So we need to hopefully get him back soon in the right way, and maybe that'll bolster our offensive production. We'll get Jared. He's really grown over the last couple of years. Physically, we could use some size. We like grit in our lineup. He brings a little fire. He brings compete level. He brings passion to the ice. We need some emotion, I think, on our team at times. And he's a kid that can bring some of those things to us. As far as your game at Alexandria, the Otters had a girl-boy doubleheader there. That's always a tough place to play at the Runestone Arena, and they got you 4-1. And Alexandria has always been a tough opponent. We've always been competitive with them, but what was the difference in that one? Yeah, I don't know. It's a good atmosphere. I don't know if that longer girls game started. We didn't like our first period. Alec kind of runs some things in the offensive zone that we weren't completely acclimated to, and it took us a while to adjust to how they were creating their offense and buying into our structure and our system to deal with that. And we thought our guys in the second and third period, as as we address those, our second and third periods, we were able to get some pucks in. We got to work. But Alec, they get the puck. They're a puck possession team. Once you turn it over, they use their teammates extremely well. They got a good skill level, and then they get to the net pretty hard.
You mentioned the bad first period, slow start there. It makes me wonder, do you ever wish you had more timeouts? I mean, you get one timeout, Mike, one timeout. You know, basketball gets like a gazillion. I mean, would you use a timeout if you had like 3?
I don't know. I listened to Bobby Knight. He says if I need a timeout to motivate my guys, we did something completely wrong. He said a timeout should be for structural or you know, some more technical things. So
well, adjusting to what they're doing out there, you know,
You know, you do talk about that. There was that Little Fall or the Northern Lake School, their third one we gave up. I kicked myself. Our guys got tired. Northern Lakes had their top line on the ice, and you're 3.5, 4 minutes left. You talk about that timeout thing.
Yep.
If I had 3 in my pocket, I know I certainly would use it at that point. But that's one thing that you reflect on as coaches is, should I have used a timeout at that point? And maybe they still score, maybe they don't, but we didn't use it. And lesson learned from coaching too, as you talk about timeouts.
Yeah, when you only have one, you value that one, and you may not use it when you should. You know, that's the thing, and you don't want to use it too early. I'm not advocating for more timeouts in hockey, not at all, but just one of the elements of the game that's kind of different there. So, well, in that Alexandria loss, you had Hunter Welly score, Brent Sherman and Colin Alt assisted on that, and you know, that's been something that when I've read the recaps and seen the lines on the games, seems like you've got a lot of different guys contributing, and that line, have they skated together long?
They've been together 4 or 5 games, I would probably say, and that was a power play goal with that one. And Alec kind of pressed us pretty hard. We had a few good, I thought, some power play opportunities that we didn't make probably quick enough decisions, and we held the puck a little bit too long. And when you do that against teams that kill pretty aggressively, they can shut you down. And they were able to have some real good puck movement. Brant has just done a tremendous job this year getting pucks through from the blue line, creating some deception and finding lanes. And Colin's job is to stand in front of that net and take a little abuse. And he's a kid that's built to be able to do that and understand that's his role. And he's really embraced that. And Hunter, we've just kind of transitioned into that power play spot. He can shoot the puck. When I like to quiz our goalies and talk to our goalies, and you know, who are our shooters? Who do we kind of see? You see these kids every day, and you see a lot. And talking with Holden, Hunter's one of our guys that can shoot it. So we just need to dial him in a little bit better on his more accuracy on his shot. But he put himself. He's a strong kid too, and put himself right in that net front position where we needed it to, and gave our team a lot of life when he banged that one home.
So is the best way to develop that accuracy in the summer in your driveway when you shoot 500 pucks a day?
You got to get out, you got to shoot, and you got to shoot, and you got to shoot. And, you know, you talk to the kids, and it's a different translation of going from that hard surface onto the ice surface, but it's, you know, knowing where the net is. There's a lot of technical things that you develop off the ice that will make that adjustment on ice a lot faster.
Okay, this is probably an unfair question, but I'll do it because Mike's a big boy. So talking about good shooters, who's the best shooter you've ever coached at Fergus Falls? Or would you say the most accurate shooter?
Oh, boy, we've had some pretty good goal scorers going back to Cody Peck. You got to look at Lucas Gervais, the way that he could put the puck in the net. We've got Michael DeBrito that he could shoot it, but I think he shot 10,000 a day, not just 1,000. And I know talking to his dad, different parenting techniques, you know, the kid's misbehaving or not doing well, and it's a phone away or something else away. Michael's dad had to take the pucks in the garage away from Michael if that was his consequence for things. And then I know I talk about goalies, Ben Swanson, visiting with Ben Swanson. He always claimed Braden Nelson was our shooter with that group of kids, which, you know, it's really something with that group of kids that Braden was playing with. And Ben picked out Braden every single, and I'm like, are you sure? And he, every single time for those couple of years, he was adamant that Braden could shoot that thing.
Wow. Yeah. That's a skill, but it's also kind of a learned skill in some cases, isn't it? I mean, some guys just are natural shooters, but you can become a good shooter. So just put the work in.
It's in the release too. It's not just in how hard you shoot it. Can you change the angle of the puck and how quick is it getting off your stick in those tight little areas?
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Give us the lowdown on Thief River today. You did talk about them a little bit. They've got a young man you said is one of the top scorers in the state coming in.
Yeah, he's leading goal scorer in the state. I think he's at 32 after last night's performance in Little Falls. So he's big, strong. He's a junior, committed to Miami, Ohio next in the future. I guess I don't know when that future is in hockey. It's hard to say with how that landscape is. Nobody's big. He's physical. And he likes to shoot it. So it's funny that we talk about shoot, but he's a shoot first guy, and so we'll have to try to find a way to limit his space. He doesn't need a lot of space to get that puck off, and so if we're going to be successful, we're definitely going to have to try to take his time and space away today.
All right, should be good. 2:00 today at the community arena. Got a busy week ahead, and we're out of time, but we'll let Mark talk to you about that week on the pregame show. That's your assignment, Mark. But
we'll have quick chats next week on the
there
recaps.
You go. Absolutely. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Mark.
Mike Donahue. Who'd you say?
Craig. I'm sorry. You mentioned Mark, and then I.
Hey.
Man.
I hear you. Believe me, it happens a lot. Thank you, Mike. Coach Donahue of the Otter Boys hockey team. And again, 2:00 today on the video stream, Fergus Now app, KBRF YouTube channel, and on the radio too. So get out and watch the Otters or watch them here. And we'll take a break. Remember to text the keyword Viking to 321-1926. Your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe, who presents the Coaches Show on Saturday mornings.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
It's the indoor sale. Of course we moved all the vehicles inside so you can shop in comfort.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have cider and donuts.
It's the indoor sale. Of course, Blake is practicing his dance moves.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have balloons.
It's our indoor sale. Of course, all of our used inventory is on sale, and it comes with a Minnesota Motor $300 gift card.
It's the indoor sale at Minnesota Motor Company, Saturday, January 17th.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number? I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. Otter girls basketball, the topic, and Josh Steer trying to figure out if they're getting on a bus and going to Bemidji or not today. I guess we don't know yet, do we?
No news is good news.
I guess that's right.
So we'll take it.
Yeah, and all the coaches at this time of year put in for a raise for Derek Abrahams and Amber Hovland in the activities department because they do, quite a bit of overtime here this time of year.
Yeah.
Get it done.
This winter's been punishment, I feel like. So
yeah.
Kind of one of those winters.
Well, you've had a lot of travel. You went to Crosby Ironton this past week, took on a Ranger team that has one of the best girls basketball players in the history of the state, probably Tori Orline.
Yeah, she's a once in a lifetime, which it's kind of silly to say because there's two of them going through our state right now, and they're both in the same grade level. So they're both seniors, in Madden Greenway and Tori Orline, and so you have two once in a lifetime players at the same time. It's pretty unreal in the state. But what a fun opportunity for us. They came to us last year and they were really good. Obviously, state runner up to Providence Academy last year. And this year, and they're in a tough section this year, but it's fun to watch a player like that that's put in the time, that's put in the work. How many hours in the gym she spent, and then she just gets to put it on display on a nightly basis, and how she does it is really fun, and not to be fun on the coaching side when you're on the other sideline, but at the same time you just respect the way that she plays the game, and it's really fun to watch.
Oh, and she's not just a scorer, right?
No, our defensive game plan. I know Coach Johnson was talking about frustrating as a coach when you have a plan in place and you don't execute it. Well, it's hard to execute it when you're going against one of the top players in the state in the history of Minnesota. So when you have that, you're like, okay, she's going to get hers. She's going to get her 30 to 40 points one way or another. You try to limit it as best you can with the defender, but you're not going to sell out and totally change your defensive game plan or your defensive scheme, for one game, one time, in the regular season anyway. In the playoffs you might do that, but when you do that, you're thinking, okay, well let's lock down the other four. We can be really good defensively on the other four, and she can go get her 30 to 40 points, and we'll live with the result. Well, she's also a really good passer, and she finds teammates, and if basketball doesn't work out for her, maybe she can see if she can play quarterback for the Vikings, because she was throwing some dimes in the full court where we were kind of there, like we were right alongside the girl, and she just threw her open in the full court for a layup. So when you kind of transition like that, your defense, and you think you're back, and she finds this little tiny window to put the ball in for two, it's hard to limit the other four on the floor. So didn't go to plan. We didn't shoot the ball particularly well from the outside, and we turned the ball over just a little bit too much, and we still scored 60 points. So I think we could have kept it a little closer and been there in the end, but she just makes it really hard.
Rangers won that one 80-60, and like Josh said, they shot it well. They shot 44% as a team. You had both Carly Hurst and Hattie Fullhart in double digits with 14 points each. Both of them have really been, key scorers for you, but they're also key rebounders for you.
Yeah, and they've been really consistent in both of those categories. And not only that, but Carly drew her defensive assignment was Tori Orline. So and when she wasn't on the floor, Hattie was guarding Tori Orline, and if she wasn't on the floor, then Presley was. But point being is, yeah, you're scoring for us, yeah, you're rebounding for us, but you're also drawing one of the toughest defensive assignments of the night. So you throw that into the mix, and you talk about being complete players, and those two are definitely complete players.
Yeah, fun to have a challenge. Like, I'm sure the girls were excited to have that challenge that they did.
Yeah, so. When you look in Carly Hurst's eyes in practice and says that's going to be your guard tomorrow night, and she's just like, okay, let's go. Mm-hmm. There's no fear there. There's no starstruck, awestruck, or anything like that. It's game on, and I'm gonna do my job, and let's go.
Elizabeth Clinert had 9 for you that night, and how has Elizabeth progressed here through the early part of the season?
Yeah, her length is something that we should probably take advantage of more. She does a great job around the rim, and she actually has a mid-range shot. So, you kind of think of that as a lost art in the high school game, well, really in the game of basketball altogether. And she can shoot from the mid-range too. So she has a lot of really great skill sets that we should probably take more advantage of as far as her length around the rim, because she does a great job there too. But and then she rebounds. She can offensive rebound too with that length. So she's pretty deadly inside.
You only hit 19% of your threes that night. Were they good looks? Were you rushing things? Was the defense a problem there?
No, it was they sat in a zone pretty much all night. They switched back and forth between a 1-3-1 and a 2-3. The 1-3-1 they didn't stay in long because we learned our lesson against the Brainerd game. We got smoked there when they went 1-3-1. So we've been working on it pretty much every day in practice. And they threw that out there because I'm sure they saw that film, and we kind of sliced it up a little bit. So they went 2-3 because that's kind of who they are and that's what they do. And we were getting really good looks out of it, but they just weren't falling. And sometimes it's harder to shoot when you're down 20 than if you're up 20, right? The basket seems to be a little bit bigger when you have a lead, and we never really played with the lead outside of the first couple minutes of the game. So, you play a little bit tighter, and that rim gets a little bit smaller every time you start to see the scoreboard tilt a little bit.
Well, you sure bounced back strong, as you hoped you would. Going to St. Cloud, you were definitely the favored team in that one. And when you have a favorite like you were, you just want to go out and execute. And you did, 73-33. Did a lot of things well that night as far as the statistics bear it out, I think.
Yeah, we kind of went down there with the mindset of, okay, we've only traveled, this is our 4th road game. We've gone to DL, to Alexandria, to Crosby, and now to St. Cloud. And the Crosby trip was, we started the game pretty well, I thought, but we were trying to figure out if we were going to be a road team or not. And the girls kind of took that as a challenge to say, all right, let's jump out early here and let's see if we can maintain for the full 36 minutes. And they, I think we were up to like I don't know if it was 15-0 to start or something like. I mean, it was quite lopsided from the get-go because we kind of just overwhelmed them with pressure, and that transitioned into some offense for us. But it also got us into a little bit of foul trouble, and we had to change our rotations up a little bit early, and they kind of kept battling back a little bit, but it was good for us to get on the road and show up and play for 36 minutes, and we didn't. I don't think we really executed to the best of our ability in that one. I thought we turned it over a little bit too much in the first half. I thought our defensive rotations were a little bit sloppy at times, and you get kind of rewarded for bad behavior because you play a team that's working on their fundamentals a little bit more. But, it was a good confidence booster for us, and we took away some things that we still got to clean up. Even if you win by 40 or if you lose by 20, you still have to learn from it. And we look at the tape and learn from those ones too.
Ruby Ellison got you going. She had 20 points on the night, but she hit some shots early. And it seems like, offensively, things start to happen. If you get Ruby involved early, just what you're talking about, maybe it's a little better shooting night.
Yeah. And, I think for us, even from Ruby's standpoint, I think we have to be a little bit more consistent with our play. Sometimes Ruby has a great first half and then maybe a quieter second half, or maybe she has a quiet first half and a bigger second half. And I think that's kind of reflective of who we are right now. We play really well at times, and then maybe we get fatigued and a little tired and things, and we kind of relax a little bit. And when you get fatigued and we get tired, not only physically but mentally, then you really have to focus and really have to lock in. And your decision making skills when you're tired are a lot different than when you're fresh. So, we might have to go to our bench a little bit quicker and rotate girls through a little bit faster to keep people fresh. But yeah, once Ruby gets going, then good things happen for us. And, when we went to Crosby, I told her after the game, I said, you only had 5 attempts and you need to have more attempts, more shot attempts in a game than that. So you need to kind of hunt your shot a little bit. And if they're not falling from the outside, get to the rim and see if you can get some contact, get to the free throw line or finish around the rim. So trying to iron out those details and those things that are going to make us a deep threat team come March.
Grace Black and Presley Warren each had 8 points, 3 steals that night for you. Are you seeing their confidence grow a lot out there, Josh, some of these young girls?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of youth that we mix in, and Grace and Presley, Grace is a freshman and Presley's a sophomore. So we're really, really happy with where they're at and where they can go. When you look at their skill set and you look at what they're capable of doing, Presley is probably one of the most athletic kids that we've seen in a while in our program. And to kind of harness that is not always the easiest thing to do because, you have to be able to use it, but you have to know how to use it. So I don't know if many people can stop her one-on-one going to the rim. And if they're going to draw a second defender, then Presley's going to pass it off and get the assist is what we got to work on. And, Grace Black, she does a great job running the point for us when she comes off the bench. And I really like how she plays the game because she really attacks the defense, draws a second defender, and then she's a really good passer out of that. So She does a lot of the things that we like to get the ball inside, whether it be on the drive or on the pass. And that kind of just, anytime you get the defense to collapse down, it really opens up things on the outside. So, a kid like Ruby Olson can shoot on the arc because Grace Black can create that for her.
10-3. Good start for the Otters.
10-3. Yeah. We're good with that. That's a pretty good start. And, but we just know that we have a lot of things we got to clean up still. And, you don't have to be your best. You don't have to play your best basketball in January. You got to try to get ready for that February and March push, and it's going to come quick.
Sure is. And today to Bemidji, at least we think.
Yeah, I think we're still on. So we had Bemidji last week. We didn't talk about that one, but that was a good one too. We played really well in that one. That was a Saturday game, and now we get to play them again this Saturday. Hopefully, I'm assuming we are. So it'll be a good battle. We handled them pretty good at home. Yeah, but they'll be ready for us, and that's a tough place to play on the road on a Saturday afternoon.
Definitely. Well, safe travels and good luck on the floor.
Sounds good. Thanks, Craig.
All right, Josh Steer, head coach of the Otter girls basketball team, and we'll continue with more on our Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
It's the indoor sale. Of course we moved all the vehicles inside so you can shop in comfort.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have cider and donuts.
It's the indoor sale. Of course Blake is practicing his dance moves.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have balloons.
It's our indoor sale. Of course all of our used inventory is on sale, and it comes with a Minnesota Motor $300 gift card.
It's the indoor sale at Minnesota Motor Company, Saturday, January 17th.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number? I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Pull that in a little if you would.
This way.
Okay, hey, we're back on the program, and we are going to talk Otter girls hockey. Justin Arneson's here. He's an assistant hockey coach. I just told him I was always hopeful you'd be a coach in the Fergus system somewhere, but I didn't think it'd be hockey.
Yeah, well, I got 3 kids. My wife, former Otter, on the girls' side, obviously, and had an opportunity to, all 3 of our kids play hockey. They love the game, and so been a part of the game for now for a better part of a decade with them going up through the youth system.
That's awesome. And I imagine you played your share of spongy growing up, maybe?
I lived over by Channing, played with Josh Anderson, Dave Karst, the Thacker boys, so I had plenty of time down at the Channing rink when I was a youngster.
Those were the days, huh?
Well, that was what we did on the weekend. All weekend long, we just played hockey and packed lunch, and they had the Warman House open, and that's what we did.
Yeah. Well, right now you're living at the rink kind of because you were there last night for a game which was quite a thrilling game. We'll get to in a moment, and then you're back there at 8:00 this morning with a practice for the girls, and there's no time to waste right now, Arnie, because the season ends so quickly in girls hockey.
Yeah, it does. It's kind of coming up fast. We got 3 weeks left, and it's crunch time. We're putting some extra work here this morning as we just got some things we want to go over, and girls have been putting in a lot of good effort. So and they're getting rewarded. Last night was a good W, and it's always nice to come on the right side of that when they work hard.
It was an interesting week. I mean, the game in Alexandria, you'd like to put that one behind you as fast as you can. You got beat 8-1 by a good Alexandria team.
Yeah, they're good. I mean, they're skilled. They're quick. They played disciplined hockey. And they passed the puck, they spread the ice, and we're going to get another shot at them. I think if we play a little more disciplined, get some more offensive chances in the offensive zone, I'm excited to play them again. We got them coming up in a week, but our focus now is on Monday against Crookston. But to your point, yeah, they're a good hockey team, and that's the teams we need to play.
Thursday night at St. Cloud, you fell behind 2-0, battled back, tied the game, scoreless third period, and then dropped it in overtime. But how encouraging was it that night to see the way your girls bounce back after a slow start?
Yeah, that's kind of been our MO a little bit. The first period of some games we haven't come out on all cylinders, and so we're trying to make some tweaks to change that. But yeah, anytime you go down, it's a little tough. You got to come from behind, and it was nice to get that game even back up. And we've had 2 battles now with St. Cloud, and the positive thing is again, it goes back to we got some things we could clean up against them. We feel that would put us on the other side of that. Going into last night's game, kind of the same thing. We had two really, really good high compete games.
Yep.
We've just been grinding games out.
Yeah, that's what you have to do in this sport a lot of times. And Kinsey Zender got your first goal that night in that comeback against St. Cloud to pull even. She got the lead down to 2-1. Kinsey seems to be pretty opportunistic around the net, gets her share of opportunities.
Yeah, we've got a lot of girls that, specifically Kinsey, she's stepped up and played in a big role. We've got girls that have stepped up in other positions and doing the same thing. And so, it's fun to see them succeed. Succeeding usually happens when they're willing to work hard and want the puck, want to beat the battles, 50-50 pucks. And that's what our game has consistently been, is when we're willing to do the hard work in press teams. Usually good things come from that, but it's not easy. It takes sacrifice.
After you fell behind 2-0 and then made it 2-1, girls didn't give up a goal again until overtime. So you kept St. Cloud off the board for 2.5 periods basically. What made the difference in that stretch of the game defensively? Did you do some adjusting or changes at all, or was it just the girls putting that extra effort out there?
Well, you got to put a big effort to our goalie. Sam had a great game. She kept us in that game for sure. We got back to the basics of discipline in the D zone. Let's not chase the puck. Let's not watch the. Sometimes we get puck watchy a little bit, and that's, I think, natural. But we went back to just the fundamentals of playing smart in the D zone. Working the puck out in the neutral zone, using your D, getting the puck in deep if you don't have nothing in the offensive zone and forecheck. And we just kind of got back to some of that. Obviously our goalie, when it came down to it, she had quite a few shots, and she kept us in that game.
Yeah, LSM has played really well for you in the last 2 games, the 2 really tight battles that we're talking about. And your goal, Brinley Harris tied it up for you. Brooke Zierden assisted on it. To tie the game at 2. I'm sure it felt like, okay, we've got the momentum heading into period 3. Did you have some opportunities in that third period to put the puck away and get that win?
Yes. We feel like I said earlier, if we can get the pucks to the net in the offensive zone and, spread the ice, definitely, but it starts with their legs. We got to be willing to just outwork them and get to the puck first. And, like I said earlier, if we consistently can do that for 3 periods, we like our chances in any game, and ultimately that's what we need to do.
Yeah, is St. Cloud a team that kind of matches up with you guys pretty well? You're pretty even with them in positions.
Yeah, we do. I feel like in all facets of the game, it's pretty competitive. I think we match up real well, and obviously they're in our section, so hopefully we get a chance to see them. We'll be seeing them again this year, hopefully, on our road in playoffs, and we like our odds.
Yeah, well, these close games can only help when it comes to playoff time, because you're going to see some, I'm sure. But let's go to last night, because, no goals were scored until, 3:33 left or something like that. 3:51, I guess it was, or 3:53. I don't know.
3:53, I had it written down.
Okay, you got
it. That's when they scored their first goal.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're behind 1-0, and there's not a whole lot of time left, but you were able to come back quickly and get that tying goal. 22 seconds later, and that's so important, isn't it? When somebody breaks the ice, so to speak, and gets the lead, you need to answer. You need to have a response, and you did.
Right. Those girls they've worked through this season just adversity. They got a no quit attitude. We scored 21 seconds later.
Yeah.
And obviously, we would have liked to score the first goal.
Right.
Pressure then goes on them. But instead, our girls have grinded all year, like I said, and they do well under pressure. Us coaches would prefer not to have that type of pressure. But obviously, in that moment of the game, down 1-0 with 3:53 left, we played with a different urgency.
Yep.
And you could see it. And Brinley Scholl, Maddie Brimhall, that line, they went out and there was nobody going to stop them. Yeah. And they got that first goal to tie it back up, and obviously then the momentum swung our way, and we were able to pop one in here late, just under a second left.
0.9 was it?
0.9 seconds left. So, but that creates, right?
Yeah.
That type of an intensity creates opportunities. Our girls know it. It's not easy to do. And it's certainly not easy to do for 3 periods. But it has to be in all 3 areas of the zone. You got to be able to do it in the D zone, you got to be able to do it in the neutral zone and the offensive zone. And I feel last night we played pretty good, very disciplined in the D zone. We looked pretty good in the neutral zone. We've struggled a little bit in the offensive zone. There's no secret to that. But we're making a few tweaks and working on some things. And ultimately, these girls are just sticking to the process. And it's fun to see them work. It's fun to see them. We've never had to question their work ethic. They come to practice every day to work. They come to games and work. So it's fun.
Well, and after losing that overtime game to St. Cloud and coming back in a tight game like last night, and you get in that situation where you're down late, there can be kind of a mental, collapse there where you say, "Oh no, not again."
Right.
But they didn't let that come into their mind. I'm sure.
No. It's an easy spot to have that. Yep. Coach called a timeout. We hit reset, refocused as a team. Went over some specifics that we need to do. Don't hit the panic button. I don't remember what game it was, but we scored 2 goals in like 30 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes, that's all we need to do. And it was a good time to call a timeout, let us reset, refocus, not panic, because there was still not a lot of game, but there's enough game for us to get some chances. And, we did. Thankfully.
Well, and you made it really hard on Sartell Sauk Rapids to get control of the puck and start moving it out of their zone. You put a lot of good pressure on them in that last minute and a half.
Yeah, and that was our goal, right? We wanted to create opportunity, but we needed to do that to be able to get those opportunities. And so, as you had mentioned earlier, tough game, great game at home. Girls battled all week in both the games we had, and so it's nice to come on the other side of that one with the work that they put in.
Isaac Vatnsdal mentioned at his report to the story that I wrote on the website that it was really good. He was really excited to see Katie Berggren get that goal because she's worked so hard to get to this point.
Yes, senior, last couple of games she's had some great shifts. Each time she goes on the ice, you can just see she's given everything she's got, and it was a nice spot for her to get a big goal late in the game and get the W. I think it was her first goal of the season.
Right.
And so, just a great moment for her and the team, obviously, and she'll remember that one for a long time.
0.9. I love that. That reminds me of the Gopher Fighting Sioux game a few years ago. Yeah. That was David remembers that one, I'm sure. That was 0.03, wasn't it, or something like that? Yeah, it was pretty exciting stuff. They didn't have a chance to come back last night, Arnie.
Yes.
Didn't leave many times. So.
No. And that's just the way you want it.
That's right. So now Crookston on Monday night. Do you know much about the Pirates yet?
I don't know that much, I guess. Coach, we'll talk this weekend a little bit, but, I think it's really about what our girls decide to do when they come and play. If they come and play the way they did the last 3 minutes of that game, I take our odds against anybody.
Yep.
Each game, 1 period at a time, 1 shift at a time.
Yep.
And just try to keep building, and I think our girls are doing that. And that's ultimately our focus is just one shift at a time, 1 period at a time, playing all 3 zones and giving what we got.
Well, we're like 2 weeks from playoffs, so it's going to go fast.
Exciting
Enjoy
times.
the ride, huh? Yeah, no doubt. Safe travels today. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thank you, Craig.
All right, Justin Arner's an assistant coach to Isaac Vattensdahl with the Otter Girls Hockey Team. Hey, be sure and text the keyword Viking to 321-1926. Your chance to win a $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. We'll be drawing a little later on in the program, and we'll continue with more as we'll talk Otter boys swimming on the other side of the break on the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
It's the indoor sale. Of course we moved all the vehicles inside so you can shop in comfort.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have cider and donuts.
It's the indoor sale. Of course Blake is practicing his dance moves.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have balloons.
It's our indoor sale. Of course all of our used inventory is on sale, and it comes with a Minnesota Motor $300 gift card.
It's the indoor sale at Minnesota Motor Company, Saturday, January 17th.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number? I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. We're going to talk Otter boys swimming now. The Otters had a couple of duels this past week, but they're also swimming today. It's the Section True Team meet at the University of Minnesota Morris. Randy Hansen is here before he boards the bus and heads out braving the blizzard conditions, I guess.
Yeah.
Supposed to be getting better, though.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you've had a busy week, though, Randy, with the two duels and then the True Team today. How difficult was that practice-wise this week to kind of do what you wanted to do, or are you just kind of in that meet mode right now?
You're kind of in the meet mode, but we knew what this was coming, and so we worked really, really hard last week with only one meet. So, it's not like we rest for either one of those. It would have been a long shot for us to win either one of them. So that being said, we can push a little bit harder in practice. Yesterday was pretty easy, after two meets in the week and then a really big one today. We really don't let up a ton, but it was a definitely easier week of practice than last week.
Well, I know every time you have a meet, you're looking for the bright, shining moments and the people that maybe stepped up and did something out of the ordinary or reached a goal that you've been striving for. So going back to that, the Brainerd meet, and they won the duel 104-76, but there were some guys that you mentioned that kind of jumped out with good performances, and I'd like you just to expound on that a little bit with Eli Butler and Bryson Tisdall primarily. Who came through and did some good things for you.
Yeah, those are young guys. Eli's a sophomore and Bryson's a freshman, and so they are still learning, growing physically. Just learning more about the sport, and so you kind of throw them into the fire sometimes. Bryson has been a ninth grader that's been doing mostly freestyle stuff for us, and I'm like, well, let's see what he can do in the 200. And he swam really, really well. So that was great. And he swam so well, he got to do it again on Thursday against Alec, but which, I think he probably wasn't super excited about. But you just try to find different events with it. And so I was really impressed with that. And I think he had a 7-second drop or something in his 100 free at that. I can't remember if that was the Brainerd or the Alec meet, but a huge drop with that. And that's the type of thing you're going to see from these guys that as they get smarter, as they get stronger, they just have those time drops. And Eli's just been dropping, and he's still got a long way to go with technique work and stuff. But I mean, he's really showing some good promise for us for sure.
And, the usual suspects, I mean, Reese Hansen and Matthew Toole and Ethan Strandy and those guys, they were first place finishers for you in some of their events. How do they respond to the competition that you see against teams like Alexandria and Brainerd? Is it more of a motivation to go up against those type of teams?
Yeah, we don't know the Brainerd guys. I mean, they're fine, and it's a good meet, and they're good, but we really know the Alec guys well. Right. Some of our guys swim with them in the summer. They're closer. They're talking to each other all the time. In fact, before the meet, a couple of the Alec guys were messaging our guys, "Hey, what are you swimming? What are you swimming?" And not that it's really top secret. And so that I think is a little bit extra motivation for them and for us. And so we get along with them pretty well. It's very different than back in my day where we didn't know anybody from other teams and you just despised them practically. And so it was, now these guys are all friends and that is a little bit, more motivation. I saw a little bit more fire in the guys on Thursday, and so that was really fun. So yeah, and as one of those top guys, like the Matthews and the Landons and Reese and stuff, if you don't have competition beside you, you've got to learn to go yourself, and so swim within your head and just let her rip, and and they've done a great job with that all season.
Well, you mentioned Jaden Kopinski against Alexandria had a really great meet.
Yeah, he had 4 PRs, which was fantastic. And they're not huge. I think his 100 fly was 0.2 of a second, maybe just a little bit less. And, but what was really impressive was his 2 relay splits. Our last relay has been pretty solidified with the order and the who's in it. And so we've been giving these guys goals. All right, we need, this split from you, this split from you. And we needed somebody to be a 49 something. And Jaden pulled that off on Thursday for the first time for those 4 guys. And they'll all be there towards the end of the year, but we needed somebody to be there now. And he did that. And that was awesome. It helped that he was being chased by an Alec kid too. So that was a little extra motivation. But yeah, and in his 200 medley relay free split too was a PR. So that he had a really, really nice night. And that's the thing you need from those guys. You need them to step up when the big stage is there.
Well, and to win all 3 relays against a quality team, that had to feel good.
Yeah, and we have a better medley. I thought that, well, they didn't swim their medley quite as well. The fun one was the 200 free relay where we just nipped them at the end. That was awesome. Matthew held off their stud at the end. And then the 400 free relay, we just dominated them. So that was nice. But yeah, I can't remember the last time we legitimately won all 3 relays against Alex. So that was a fun little day.
Landon Vadova came very close to state cut time, so he's making progress in the 200.
Yeah, that's really been his best event so far this year. He's really ripping on the 500 too, but the 200 has been, he's eclipsed Matthew just by a little bit, which is, I know is good motivation for Matthew, but they kind of go back and forth with that. But he's sitting in probably the top 10 in the state right now in that 200 free, which is great. And he's going to have some competition today for sure. So that we'll see if we can get, but we want those guys to be below 150, both of them before sections. And that's not unrealistic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also highlighted Eli Rott and Keaton Vadova. Talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, the same thing. Just those young guys that are just coming along. Just had nice PRs and nice meets. We try to recognize guys for just you don't maybe get the headlines. I heard Coach Johnson say some of the guys that don't get the articles written about them, but they do good things, and those guys just keep plugging along and scoring points for us or securing a spot on a relay. And those are the type of guys that are going to make the difference today. We just really need them to step up, and so we're excited.
Isaac Rott, what's his progress been?
Yeah, it's good, really good. He's really improved a lot. If I got a vote for most improved, he would definitely be in that conversation. He's a junior. He's been swimming a long time. He's matured. I can get him in a whole bunch of different events. As a freshman, he was, a little more cautious about doing things, and now he just can do pretty much anything. He swims the IM for us. He's able to do 100 fly and do them well and score points, and that's what we need.
Well, and again, it was a busy week meet wise, the 2 duels and today's true team. Mentally, that's a challenge for swimmers because, hey, they're going to school all day too and doing homework sometime on the bus or when they get home or whatever. But they seem to handle that week pretty well.
Yeah, it was fine. And it's different if it be, meets that would have been close and that we had to put a lot of mental energy into it. And, we pretty much knew it was not going to be ones we could win, but we still, hyped the guys up for their individual races and things, I think they're more geared up for today than they were for the other meets.
Well, what you say there is so true about swimming and track and field that you're involved in. Also, that you're always battling yourself and the clock, not just the opponent. Right. So I love that about these sports, and I know you do too. So all right, today let's look at it. Explain to the viewers, listeners about the true team and how it differs from what we're going to see in a few weeks when you have the section meet.
Yeah, so the swimming stole this from track and field back in the day, but it measures the depth of a team. So in a regular meet, first place in our pool, first place gets 6, second place gets 4, and it only scores the top 5. In a meet like this, every person scores, and so it measures how far those, everybody's got a stud or two. So where are your middle guys and your lower guys in relation to the other teams? And so relays score double because it's a team thing. So if it's 24 points for first place, it's 48 points in a relay. So you need depth, you need good solid relays, you need guys to be we'll have one guy in the top 5, but then we need our second, third, fourth guy to be in the top 15 if we're going to be scoring points. And unfortunately, there's diving, and you don't want to make excuses for it, but it's a reality. And so Sartell's going to probably run away with it. That would be my guess. It's going to be really hard to beat them. But we have a legit shot for second, and that's the first time we've had that in a long time. We've gotten third the last couple years pretty comfortably. But we've got a legit shot at second. I think Melrose Sauk Centers are the one that we have to take down. They're going to have somewhere between 70 and 90 points on us before the meet starts because of their divers. So we have to make that up somewhere, and that'll be in our relays and other things. So it's we talked to the guys last night about that, and it's not out of the question, but it's we're gonna have to really swim well for that to happen.
Will the lineup you put out there today be indicative of what you're going to do at sections?
Pretty much. People kind of know what some of those guys are going to do. Like everybody in the section know Reese is going to be the backstroke. Everybody knows Matthew's going to be and Landon are going to be the 500. So some of those things are given. So it's going to be pretty close. Barring some catastrophe, the lineups for the A relays are going to be pretty well set. It's some of the other events that could move around. Like what do we do with Lucas Toole? He can right now he's doing well in the 200 IM. And the 100 fly, but the 100 back is kind of wide open. I mean, Reese is pretty much the top of it, but yet, there's a lot of space below him that's, top 3 go to state. So maybe that's a good spot for him. We have to figure those things out, and Lucas isn't swimming backstroke today, but, and other teams are going to be doing the same thing. So you're looking at some of their guys that could go to different places, and what are they swimming and how are they at? And, it's a big, huge puzzle, and everybody's kind of second guessing some of those, wondering what other teams will do, but, it's generally a pretty good preview of where you're at in the section meet. But things will definitely change too.
What about the venue? University of Minnesota Morris. Your kids swim well there? Do they like to swim there?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we it's big deck space. They've got a separate diving well, so that's great because they can get in, warm up, and cool down after their events. You don't have to worry for the wait for the pool to open, between events and things. So that's nice. The one weird thing about it is the diving blocks are in a shallower end. That's unusual. So it's not super shallow, but the rules are now for diving or blocks in the deep end, but Morris says they can't move it. It's too short on the one side. There's not enough space, which is too bad because the high school league allows backstroke wedges now. There's a little ledge that you can put in the water for backstrokers to put their little monkey toes on, and they can come back spring back farther. But Morris can't use them because it's too shallow. So it's illegal there. So that's a disadvantage for us for the section meet and for today. But it's not huge, but it's a thing. So, but we generally, it's close. And we're pretty familiar with it. And they do a good job down there. So so we're really excited.
Final question for you. You mentioned the diving, and we don't have any divers. Any help down the pike there on diving? Are you getting?
I don't know. You got somebody for me? Any ideas? Okay.
I'm sorry.
Not that I know of. We had one of our guys on our team, one of our younger guys, has kind of expressed interest in it, and we have a diving camp that's in the summer, and so I said that's going to be the place for you to try it and see if you like it, and then if you decide that's one of the events you want to pursue, I will absolutely let you do that. Then we'll have to talk the girls diving coach to come and help with that because nobody wants me coaching diving. But so it would be nice to have one or two just to score some points.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah. It goes in cycles, it seems.
It does, for sure.
Well, good luck today. Have
thank
fun.
You. Yeah,
right.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Randy Hansen, head coach of the Otter swimming team, and we'll be back with more be sure to, oh, you know what? We're going to draw here and find out who our winner is of our gift certificate. Tell you that right after we take a break. This is the Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
It's the indoor sale. Of course we moved all the vehicles inside so you can shop in comfort.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have cider and donuts.
It's the indoor sale. Of course Blake is practicing his dance moves.
It's the indoor sale.
Of course we have balloons.
It's our indoor sale. Of course all of our used inventory is on sale, and it comes with a Minnesota Motor $300 gift card.
It's the indoor sale at Minnesota Motor Company, Saturday, January 17th.
Lake Region Healthcare knows what all coaches know. It takes tons of teamwork, great amounts of grit, and heaps of hustle to triumph. Lake Region Healthcare, supporting and celebrating our high school athletes.
Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls is proud to sponsor area athletics. Nelson Auto knows the value of a good team, and we'd like to invite you in to meet our team. See how our team takes care of you and your family. Nelson Auto Center in Fergus Falls.
Running Stitches Embroidery in Fergus Falls is West Central Minnesota's leader in high-quality screen printing and custom embroidery. Whether you're looking for a one-of-a-kind custom job or need to outfit the entire team, Running Stitches Embroidery will be there when you need them.
What's your number? I drove 60 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota. I drove 45 miles to get a great deal from Quality Toyota.
The key to a great meal is at the Viking Cafe of Fergus Falls. The Viking Cafe with Minnesota's best omelet, manhole cover pancakes, and burgers that will fill your appetite. The key to a great breakfast and lunch is at the Viking Cafe, downtown Fergus Falls.
Welcome back to the program. Congratulations to Joel Heikus. He is the winner of the $25 gift certificate from the Viking Cafe. Joel was able to enjoy some Viking Cafe breakfast here in the fall when he was coaching the Otter Boys soccer team. Now he can enjoy it at the Viking as the winner of our gift certificate. Thanks to Pat Scholl and the folks at the Viking for giving that away every week. And to all of you who enter, better luck next week if you did not win today. Donovan Rogness is the head coach of the Hillcrest Boys basketball team. A couple of good battles this last week, beating Border West 54-51, and then losing to a state-ranked Pelican Rapids team 57-48. Overall, how would you grade the week, Donnie?
Yeah, well, it's a very different week that we had this week versus the last week. Last week we had a couple of we had three opponents that were able to really let our defense shine and get a margin of victory that was really fun, 30-plus, give or take. And then we came in and had two great battles. So Border West, always tough to play at Wheaton. They always scheme well, and they just always play well there. So we're thankful that we got away with the win on that one, but that was a tough battle. And then obviously playing Pelican at home, they're playing well. They're a tough team, and we battled hard with them. Yeah,
they're a top 5 team in the state. They've been as high as number 1, I think, at one time this year.
I think so, yep.
So, it's going to be an interesting postseason this year, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out. They took this section and divided or got rid of the subsections and made it one big section. So we have 20-plus teams in our section. So they're going to have to somehow dice through that and figure out the rankings. And and our section's got some talented teams. Mm-hmm. And so,
it's hard to name a favorite right now because you got a couple ranked teams in there in the top 10.
Yeah, you got Henning and Pelican and Park always comes out good. Breckenridge is playing good and Ada's playing. There's a lot of teams in our section that
and the Comets.
Yep, and the Comets.
We're going to be a factor.
We're hoping so.
No doubt. I think that'll be a great tournament. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to the Border West game for a minute. You had a 6-point lead at halftime. Wound up, they got it back to within 3, and it was a battle down the stretch. What kind of turned that in your favor? Was there a moment in that second half where you kind of took control and thought, okay, now it's ours?
I think that game just came down to us not playing our defensive intensity that we normally would have. So we're a team that is going to create our offense off of our defensive play. And we didn't have that time. But I think at the end, there's like when you talk about how do you separate the game and how do you get the victory, our defense did step up at the end, and we did make some key stops. And so we were just able to hold it through that.
Well, if you're going to make your plays, you want to make them at crunch time, right? I mean, if you've been struggling all game, you know you can pull that out if you get back to basics and what your strengths are. And you've got so many guys who are, we've talked about this, experienced athletes, not just basketball players, but that mental toughness. Are you seeing that? Is that a real positive for the Comets right now?
Absolutely. I mean, so we've got 7 seniors. So our first 7 guys in the basketball game are usually our seniors. Number of those guys were leaders on the football team. And, I said this from day one, I'll be happy to start our basketball season 2 weeks late for the experience that they get. So I think you hit the nail on the head that our guys they aren't rattled. Like we get to the other game, even in the end of the Pelican game, just jumping forward, they're like, our guys weren't rattled. They just were focused and they knew that they just needed to execute. It was one play at a time, and they just didn't force any dumb shots at the end because they were nervous and we got to take the shot. And you can see the maturity in our guys for sure, and thankful for that.
I know defense is the key. It wins championships. We've heard that in every sport forever. I think both of your games, the winning team was under 60 points.
Yeah.
Are you more comfortable as a team in a game like that rather than a shootout?
Absolutely. I think, when we played Pelican, I believe that we held them to their lowest point total of the year. I don't think anyone's held them under 60. And that is who we are. So when I think about the pedigree of our team, our guys are hustlers, hard workers, physical, and are going to play basketball in that style. And we're not going to finesse somebody on the offensive side with creative play. And so, you're 100% right. Our team, when we play defense, our goal is to have opponents score 50 and we score 70. Like that's, obviously that's a big margin. I get that, but you got to set a goal somewhere, right?
Right.
And so our goal is to hold teams under 50, and that would be achievable most times. Yeah.
So in your defensive scheme, do you do some changing game to game based on who you're playing, or are you working on just your base defense and working off that, what your strengths are? Because you look at Pelican and they got a scorer, Miguel Torres. Did you do something different with him than you do normally?
Yeah, so we went into so to answer your first question before we get onto the Pelican game, our defense has changed a little bit. We were in a man style, and then we got into a zone where we were playing a really aggressive matchup zone, and that was going well for us. And then when we started with the Pelican game, we started off with that matchup zone, and Miguel hit 2 threes to start the game. We're like, okay, well, we're ready to adjust. And then we went into more of like a deny type style on him, and Zane Holmquist was given that assignment, and he did a phenomenal job. Miguel had a couple threes early in the game. He had some free throws at the end of the game, but he was, for the most part, very neutralized by Zane. And so we recognize that as a strength. We have a guy that, Zane was a slasher on the soccer team and just really athletic and can come out and do the exact same thing on defense. He can just really run with anybody on the floor, slip through screens like nobody, and just keep playing hard. So, it's matchup based, I would say.
And when you have a team that is full of seniors, like your team is, how less stressful is that to you as a coaching staff when you have to make those in-game adjustments and changes, knowing that, these guys have been here, they're going to be able to do this?
Yeah, that's a total blessing. I think any coach would want that. So when you're right, when we can make adjustments, kids aren't like, Coach, you don't get that wide-eyed look. They're like, oh, okay, I think we can execute that. That's no problem. We haven't worked on it this year, but I know what we're doing. We'll do it. And then just being able, like, we rely on we have our main 3. We have Sean, Ethan, and Lincoln. Those are our captains, and those are our leaders. And those guys just do a great job of making sure that everybody has assignments and bringing their teammates along and just leading really well. And so we're super fortunate to have that leadership.
You mentioned those 3 guys, and really any of them could lead you statistically in multiple categories on any given night. It's not like you're relying on one guy to do the scoring for you or to be your main rebounder. They kind of switch off and contribute in so many different areas.
Yeah. Yeah, what a gift that is to be able to have 3 guys on your team that you can rely on. I mean, I'll start with Ethan. Ethan is so consistent down low. He's got a big physical body. He is always right there with being our top rebounder and getting putbacks and just
really relying on him to, when we shoot threes, he's getting offensive boards. Like he's just so valuable to us. And then having having Lincoln and Sean on the outside. Lincoln can hit from outside, and Sean can drive to the middle, and Lincoln can hit his fadeaway from 15 feet. And just depending on the matchup, those guys are just so talented.
Well, and they're smart. They have a good court sense. They're athletic.
Yep. And they're long.
They're long.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good qualities right there on this mix. So I'm sure it's been a blast to coach them, and a blast for the fans to follow them and see the success they're having.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it sets the table for what I think is going to be a great playoff run. Now, let's talk conference for a minute, because the teams we've mentioned, Pelicans, the Heart Lakes team, Henning, who beat Pelican and handed their only one of their only losses. They're a Park Region Conference team.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you're in the Little Lake Conference, which has expanded quite a bit here in the last few years.
Yep.
Your conference, you go back into it here, Parker's this week, Rothsay, and somebody else.
Well, then we have Breck on Saturday.
Non-conference or Heart
section,
Lakes.
but yeah.
Yeah, another section.
Mhm.
Okay, so my question is, what is the strength of your conference compared to what you're going to see at section time? Obviously, a little different there, but do you feel that the conference schedule is going to be a conference that will challenge you game in and game out?
100%. I mean, I'm I don't want to say I'm surprised, but I'm impressed with how the coaches of our conference have been able to rise up and lead their teams. I mean, I think of Underwood. Underwood just knocked off Nevis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Underwood's playing well. Rothsay is playing well. Hancock is playing well. And when we had a battle with Underwood to start with, and we had a battle with Hancock, and then we play Rothsay this week, which I'm guessing is going to be a battle. The conference is tough, and it could go either way every night, I think.
And that's why I asked that question. Finally got around to asking the question I wanted to ask. And you knew exactly what I wanted to think. But the conference seems to have gotten stronger and stronger the last couple of years, because there was a time when there were one or two teams in the Little Eight, and you'd say, they're the favorites, definitely. Nobody else is going to really challenge them. Mm-hmm. This year, you can't say that. And even road games, home games, the road teams are playing well on the other team's courts, it seems.
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show that the conference is desiring to build programs within their kids, and this is years in the making. I mean, I think about Underwood, and Underwood, it was young for so many years, and Kellen's got his guys that they're finally up in their junior senior years, and they're playing like really talented basketball players. And so I think it's a many years of hard work and diligence and commitment, and it's paying off for all these programs.
Right, and they say iron sharpens iron, right? So you want to face tough competition in your conference schedule.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. It's obviously fun to get a win, but everyone has the tournament and the playoffs in mind, and so to go in and to get a bunch of easy wins, I mean, all it is setting you up for a disappointment. You need the challenge for sure.
So okay, let's do the flip side here. I'll play devil's advocate here a little bit, because you've got all these seniors, the experience, they're doing the job for you. How is that affecting what you're developing in your younger kids? Are they getting the challenges they need, not participating at the varsity level as much as maybe you would in a normal year as an underclassman?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think every coach can have their own strategy. But when we look at our team, obviously first 7 guys off the bench are all seniors. So then I got to be thinking a little bit about, what does next year look like? How do I make sure that the younger guys are getting development? And so we'll take our 8 through 12, 8 through 13, and they're playing 2 halves of JV. And not that that's their level, because their level is that they belong on a varsity squad. But I just really desire not to sacrifice their today for tomorrow. And you think about juniors playing JV. That's kind of some of those guys. Maybe that's kind of a bummer, right? But life presents challenges, and we talk about our team just like, how do you build character through basketball, right? People talk about it's such a good life development skill playing basketball. Well, here's an example. These juniors, I think of like Drake and Sawyer and Sam. Those guys, they they have 7 seniors in front of them. That's not super exciting, but it's the card that they were dealt. And so how do you handle that well? Well, you go and play GV. You let them know that you're a really good player, and I want you to continue to develop your skill because next year this is your team. And so they have taken that so well. And I don't hear any complaining. I don't see any slouch shoulders. I don't see any body language that says that they're doing poor. So does that answer your question?
It certainly does. Yeah.
We just want them to play basketball and go out and have fun.
Sounds good, Donnie.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being with us this morning. Appreciate
welcome.
it. Thanks for being with us as well on the Coaches Show. We'll be back next Saturday. We're every Saturday, 8 to 9:30 during the winter sports season. The Coaches Show presented by the Viking Cafe.
Thank you for joining us for the News Talk 1250 KBRF Coaches Show, presented by the Viking Cafe and brought to you by the Minnesota Motor Company, Lake Region Healthcare, Nelson Auto Center, Quality Toy.